What's up? This your boy Flip, man. Also known as Number Seven, also known as that guy. Here with my boy B Brown. We about to chop it up. Y'all need to tap into that Aki 2. Straight out the Bull City, man. Get you some Aki 2. Natural spring water. Let's get it.
Yo, welcome to the Perfect Show. Got my man Flip with me. To me, this is like an immaculate meetup.
So,
It's crazy. I have a story I'll never forget when I met you. But it's crazy. I haven't seen you in like a decade.
yeah, it's been a while, bro, because you graduated, what, a year? You graduated '09.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Right before I got there. Right before I got there.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed you by because you started 2009, 2010.
Yeah, 9, 10.
Man, and we gonna get to the basketball part.
For sure.
But yeah, it always felt like Holly Springs, where we're from, Holly Springs, North Carolina, for people who don't know, it always felt like a tight knit community, you know?
Most definitely. The African American population for sure. Everybody knew each other, see each other everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely tight knit.
Yeah, and the support. But I gotta tell you a story about when we met. So we're 4 years apart. I'll never forget. I'm a senior in high school. I'm on the basketball team, thinking I'm straight. You're in 8th grade. We met at the YMCA. And we
I'm gonna say something first though. 8th grade Flip, off the chain, man.
but I appreciate it because it was one of the most humbling experiences of my lifetime. Because you were in there killing, but at the time, of course, you were probably like 3-4 inches taller than me already.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming you're in high school, and I'll never forget there was a play where the ball went out of bounds, and I said something like, "Oh, weight room or something," and you were like, "Man, I'm in 8th grade and I'm killing y'all." And I'll never forget. I went to my car that night. I started my car, and I was like, "I hope this nigga's really not 8th grade because he was killing us."
8th grade Flip, man. I was feeling myself, boy. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was dunking in middle school. Yeah, it was up.
Yeah, left-handed.
Yeah,
It was. Yeah, but what do you think? To kind of, I guess, segue off of that, what do you think led to, like, I guess, the persona that you say is 8th grade Flip?
Yeah. I had a lot on my shoulder very, very early. I had a huge chip on my shoulder, like, very early. Like, growing up, a lot of people don't know, but I was adopted growing up. I wasn't with my immediate family. I was with, like, distant relatives that I didn't really know like that. As a child, like, when I was born, foster care, then I was adopted. When I was adopted, I got burned, like, real bad on my legs type. So, like, I had to get skin grafts and learn how to walk again. This was at 17 months. It was a big, like, that was my first time being in a newspaper, like, at 17 months, because it was a huge, like, abuse trial. So, like, I got burned, had to learn how to walk again. Doctors told me, like, I was going to have all types of complications and stuff. So, like, as I continued to grow and get older, we realized, like, damn, he growing. Like, he getting tall. Like, I was 5'9" in the 5th grade.
That's
so,
crazy.
like,
I still ain't 5'9".
I was growing. So, sports, like, that was my outlet. I had so much, like, I wanted to be with my people. You know what I'm saying? My mom was incarcerated. Dad, a street nigga, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be with my people, but I couldn't be with my people, you know what I'm saying? So at that time, it was just like, shit, a whole bunch of fuel inside me, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it was.
So, outside of sports, because I feel like sports is such a mass. We were talking about even like the impact of soccer earlier.
Yeah.
Is there anything outside of sports that you kind of look to as a youth to get out that energy?
I like the arts, you know what I'm saying? I like all different types of arts. I'm big on music. I'm huge on music. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm real big on R&B. I'm real big on, like, certain rappers, not all rappers, but I'm real big on music. I like art museums and stuff like that, stuff to take my mind somewhere else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yo, one thing about you I noticed from following you through the years is that you post like quotes, but not like these motivational kind of cheesy
Right.
quotes, like Socrates.
Yeah, I can't stand, like, I really hate motivational stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird because for me, like I said, I grew up like a lot, like very different than most. So like I didn't get no motivation. It was either like you either gonna be successful on your own, or you just gonna be down for your whole life. So like I ain't get that motivation. So my thing was like, hey nigga, ain't no help coming. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no help coming. Like you gotta get out here and you gotta do what you gotta do. So over the years, I started like looking into like Greek philosophy. I find all that pretty dope, man. What they stood on, what they believed in. I started paying attention to this one guy, Marcus Aurelius. Um, he's my favorite philosopher, and he teaches like Stoicism, the art of Stoicism, which is really like not showing what you've been through, and that resonates with me like tenfold. I got him tatted on my neck right here. I got a portrait of him. But like those be the quotes that I be quoting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stuff that I rather live my life by.
Word. So, what's your perspective on religion?
Um, I feel like I grew up Christian. Grew up
Same,
Christian.
same.
I was in and out the church like as a youngin', but you know, as I got older and started like really doing research and like paying attention and reading and stuff, I realized that like religion is what I can't say anybody's religion is wrong. It's really what you make of it. You know what I'm saying? I believe there's a God. I believe there's a Jesus. I believe there's the devil. You know what I'm saying? I believe in a heaven and a hell. Um, I just got faith. You know what I'm saying? I got more faith than anything. Cause like the doctors told me like I was gonna have like troubles learning because of trauma. I was going
Oh,
like
wow.
I got numbness in my legs. Like my legs would go numb every now and then. And they said like I might not grow to be that tall. So how can I not believe in God?
Dang, that's what? Cause how tall are you?
6'6".
Dang.
For real, bro. That shit is real. Like when you sit back and you look at everything, like in the moment you might not know it's God, but when like you step outside of yourself and you look back at everything that you've gone through and where you are currently, God real, bro.
Yeah, that's Yo, we 8 minutes in. That's yo, that's damn, that's impactful. Cause you really got me thinking about the stoicism. Um and not showing what you've been through. Cause it's interesting, like I'm such a heart on the sleeve, I guess, kind of person. And it's funny because like with the motivational quotes and posts, I feel you a lot because I feel like it ends up just becoming a hindrance and a false, just false reality of hope that you end up waiting for something. Like you said, waiting for help, and next thing you know,
Yeah, like outside, it's real outside. You know what I'm saying? As you get older and you start coming into your own man, like I've been on my own. My junior year, into my junior year, I went to a group home. I left the foster care I was in. I was in a group home until I graduated, until I turned 18. I walked out myself. So like, I ain't have no help, bro. Like my whole year with this basketball shit, bro, I ain't have nobody to say, yo, Flip, you get straight A's, you can go to Duke. You know what I'm saying? You can go to NC State. Coming out of high school, I had the talent to go anywhere I wanted to go.
agreed.
I had like over 50 offers, D1, D2. You know what I'm saying? I had damn near every D2 on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like all the HBCUs, like we was lit. So like, but to get there, I never had like the support that everybody else has. Mom, dad, coaches and stuff. Like I was getting into it when I was young. You knew me when I was young. When I was young,
Yeah.
I was getting into it with everybody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have no discipline within myself, and I didn't have it coming from anyone else. So I was just really like outside. You know what I'm saying? Like I was getting into it with grown-ups, fighting grown men. Like looking back on it, it's like damn, I was really crazy, bro. Like so I say that to say, like, everybody needs somebody that they can look up to. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can guide them, guide their steps, and get them to that next level, whatever that next level may be.
Word. Yo. A few points. It's crazy how, like, as a youth, because I knew you when you were, like I said, probably 14, 15, so I was like 18, 19. And it's crazy because at the time, like, we don't see it as, like, crazy. We just see it as, like, oh, that's Flip. Because, like I said, like, you remind me a lot of my best friend, AJ. And
Right.
AJ, like, it's funny because he'll talk about himself, like, when he was younger. And he was saying kind of thing, like, he would get into it with coaches. AJ didn't care. He'd get into it with adults. And at the time, I always saw it as, like, a chip.
Yeah.
But then you get older, and you do kind of see, like, you know, it's crazy, like, that we were wilding as youth in different ways, but at the same time, like, it's so interesting to see how on the flip side, no pun intended, on the flip side, it'll end up coming out and working as almost like your best.
For real, bro.
Like,
for real.
Strength.
Honestly, bro, I wouldn't change nothing I've been through for anything, bro. It all made me. And I ain't really start finding myself until I met Ant. You know what I'm saying? My best friend, Anthony.
Hey, shout out Ant Doyle, man.
Shout out Ant Doyle. Him and his mom and my other homeboy, Garrison. You remember Gary.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Once I met them, I learned what family was. You know what I'm saying? I learned what love was. I ain't feel no love. I ain't get no I love yous, no hugs, no nothing until shit 17, 16. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to imagine that. Like, growing up, you see everybody else with their people, their moms, their dads, they parents coming to the games. Bro, AAU, I ain't had no rides. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't play AAU for the longest because I ain't had nobody to take me. You know what I'm saying? So, once I met Ant and them, that's when I got into AAU. They changed my life. For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Before I get into this, I'm going to move the light a little closer. Mm-hmm. Do you think the camera's crooked?
How long it take you to edit these?
For real? That's a good question. For real, usually if we're talking about totality, I try to, like, I'll re-listen to the podcast, like, when I'm driving or something, and then I'll be like, okay, that's a real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm starting to pick out when I'm like, I know this little minute segment I can make something out of. Yeah. So then by the time I get to the computer, upload it, it usually take me about between 30 and an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying?
That's not bad.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get out of this perfectionist.
Nah, that's good
state.
Though. You know what I'm saying? Like, artists, their biggest critic is themselves. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. But yo, back to the family thing. So, what impact do you think that has? Because how old are you now? 26?
28.
20. Dang.
I turned 28 in November.
Hey, happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
What's your birthday? November 11th?
15th.
Okay. Yo, that was a guess. What impact do you think that has on, like, do you want a family one day?
Yeah, I actually have a daughter on the way.
What?
For sure.
Congrats.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prophecy. How do you think that's going to impact? And of course, this is an impossible question to answer because you got a lifetime of parenting. But it's like, just in this moment right now, like, what do you think is, like, most prominent on your mind as far as what you want to kind of instill in her?
Well, first things first, like, emotions have always been very strange to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, feeling things. Because for a long time, I ain't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't feel anything. So my biggest thing right now is, like, softening myself up. Making myself, like, available to receiving emotions and giving emotions. Because that's been my biggest hindrance throughout my life. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, shit, I won't get in that much. As a child, I started getting it late. So, like, I'm still learning that. So as a man, you know what I'm saying, I just got to find the best way to express and receive my emotions and stuff. So that's really what I'm focusing on now.
Word. Yo, and I feel like it takes a lot as a man, especially in 2023, to really admit, like, for one, a fault, but also that emotions are important. Because one thing I'm starting to see a trend in is that a lot of people, because we both, you born in North Carolina, right? Yeah, both born and raised in North Carolina. We were raised in around men who were born in the 50s and 60s, who were raised by men who were born in the 1910s and 20s. And so I kind of see almost like this trauma lineage come down, and to where emotions are like frowned upon.
Man, that's real. Like, and it definitely trickles down in your family. Like, I'm just like my dad. It's crazy. I'm just like him. Me, my brother, and my dad, we all different versions of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got like the one that's on 10, then you got my brother, then you got me, like the milder one. But like, yeah, it definitely trickles down, because like, even though I wasn't even around my pops as much as I would have liked to have been, I'm still just like him. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. I look at myself and I see the traits. I see the traits in my dad that I enjoy. Like, he was always into like books and shit and intelligence.
Yeah, for sure.
But then I also see the side of me that, like, I feel like my dad worked a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I was blessed and fortunate to have two-parent home, you know, all my life.
Yeah.
Even to this day. But like I said, then there were the times, because he used to sell cars, so, you know, he would work sometimes 6 days a week, you know, and we kind of bonded through basketball. That's why I'm such a big Carolina basketball fan, because
Sure.
when we had time, that was our shit.
Thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you watch our call logs from November to April, we talk a lot. From April to November, you know, we check in every 3-4 weeks, you know, but it's interesting just seeing how, like, so many of my friends who were born and raised in the South, we're having to, like, learn how to be men in our own right, because the men we were taught, or the definition of man, well, I think we're all coming to see is not 100% correct.
Right.
So I guess moving kind of towards the basketball, but just from a mental state. So, like, do you think all this kind of impacts the way you approach the game?
100%. I play for a few different reasons. You know what I'm saying? As a child, I was playing more so for, like, to prove everybody wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a lot of hatred coming towards me, not just from, like, my peers, but I had a lot of hatred coming from adults as well. So, like, at first it was proving myself. Now, once I proved I can hang with anybody who could dribble a basketball, I was playing for my mom. You know what I'm saying? That's my rock. You know what I'm saying? Once we connected and got in each other's lives, like, she became a big part of my life. You know what I'm saying? So I was playing for her. Now, as a grown adult, well, in college, a lot of people don't know this either. I got kicked out of Livingstone my junior year behind some crazy stuff with my cousin, getting backstabbed and stuff like that. So I didn't get kicked out of the school, but I got kicked off of the team. So everybody know me. I'm not going to school without playing basketball.
Right.
That's just what it is.
AJ.
That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I never really cared for college. It was always, I want to be a pro. Yeah. I never even, like, being young, 10 years old, I was watching Kobe. I was watching college basketball. I'm a Carolina fan for sure. But, like, I always wanted to skip that part. I wanted to go straight to the league. I used to tell coaches, as soon as I got to their program, high school, AAU, college, I'm trying to go pro. Like, I'm trying to go get that money. I see how they living. And my older brother, he played football. He went to the NFL.
Word. Okay. Word.
Went to East Wake, NC State, South Carolina State, made it to the NFL. So he's 5 years older than me. So, you know, my whole life, I just got to see, like, what type of time he was on. I remember when he went to sign with his agents. I just thought that was, like, the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's some cool shit to me.
You know what I'm saying? I'm, like, a young nigga, freshman year, watching him, like, go through the whole process, the draft process, and I'm just looking like, damn, this shit really real.
Yeah.
This shit really real. So, you know, nowadays I play for my baby that's on the way. You know what I'm saying? That's my motivation. I don't really care about too much else. I don't party. I don't drink. I don't go out. You know what I'm saying? I just lock into that gym and do what I got to do.
Word. What is your do you have like a set routine? Like when you and I'm not even talking about like once you get to like the actual workout. Do you have like a mental or almost like a
Yeah,
strategic routine of how you do things?
yeah, for sure. Like when I'm home or when I'm gone, like overseas.
I'll say overseas.
Okay, so overseas, you know what I'm saying? I'm big on music. I vibe. Like I got a vibe. Like no matter if I'm about to go hit the weight room, no matter if we about to go shoot, but I got a vibe. So 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm at the weight room. We hitting the weights. You know what I'm saying? After that, shoot around for about 2 hours. Then from like 11 till 4:30, that's my time to like rest, revive from the weight room, get some water, get some food in me. And then 5 o'clock, 5:30, I hit practice. Go to practice for about 2 hours. Then after practice, I probably shoot for about another 2 hours, and then finish up with either stretching or back in the weight room.
Do you look for a certain amount of makes?
Oh, most definitely. I gotta make at least like 80% of what I put up.
Ooh, percentage. Ooh.
75% to 80% of what I put up because my game has changed a lot since high school. I can shoot now. I couldn't shoot in high school, so I was trying to dunk on everybody. So like, you know, once you get older, like you start learning new things and new moves. Like once I get to my spot, it's over. And I got a lot of spots.
Right.
I got a lot of spots.
I like that. That's a real.
For sure. Once I get to my spot, like you at my mercy at that point. Defense don't even matter. So, you know, I try to hit 80%, try to put up at least in a day, I try to put up at least 2,000, 2,500.
Word. So, damn, I had a question right before you said something about the spots. Oh, okay. Because I have a theory, and you're the perfect person to ask about this. Do you think YouTube has helped basketball? Because I have this theory that you and I grew up, and since you're like a little bit younger, you caught the YouTube wave, but we still kind of like. It's interesting how now you can go on YouTube and basically mimic moves. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting.
You know what we was doing before that? Before YouTube?
And one.
And one.
Yeah. And that got me cut from fucking Holly Ridge.
I remember Ant in front of the TV. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't much of a ball handler, but you know that's Ant thing.
Yeah.
He like to pound that rock. So like I remember Ant being up. I used to stay with him at a certain point in time. He up 5 in the morning. Watching the moves, going to the driveway. Watching the moves, going to the driveway. Watching the moves, going. That was his thing, for sure.
Yo, it's. By the way, we got to get back to Ant and Garrison.
Yeah.
But you're right. It was Ant 1 because that's what got me cut 8th grade. Trying to do behind the back shit. I talked to the coach. He told me that's what it was. But I always think how like I remember when YouTube first came out. It was like 2005, 2006 ish, and there was this Chris Paul video I used to watch, but that was like literally the only Chris Paul video on YouTube. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it's interesting how now like a kid in South America, a kid in Detroit, kid anywhere, Atlanta can get on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, and now see, infinite amounts of moves and stuff. And I love how it's helped develop the game because it's so interesting how when you watch like the top high school players from like 15, 20 years ago, their hoop mixtapes, they look so fucking dry. It's interesting. Yeah. A lot of one dribble pull ups and shit. And now it's like the game has gotten to a point where
the game it's evolved like tremendously, bro. Like I say it all the time. Like it's so much. I'm still a old school guy though at heart. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm still get to your mid range, get to your spot. Don't overuse your dribbles. You know what I'm saying? If I get past you, I'm trying to dunk it. I'm not gonna bring you back so I can make you fall again. Like I'm pretty much basically to the point. But the game has evolved tremendously, bro. Like I see it all the time. I was watching this one video the other day. It was like 7-year-olds. He had everything in his package. Like in a full game, he crossing over, pulling you back, in and out, side steps, and he's shooting the ball on a 10-foot rim. It was amazing to me, bro. It's amazing.
Where do you think this is such a great topic. So like, do you think we'll get to the point where somebody will be better than like Michael Jordan? And not greater, because that's also a conversation I want to have about. I think there can be a difference between greater and best to a degree. But do you think we'll ever get to a point where somebody's just gonna be literally just like unguardable?
To be honest, bro, me and my people talk about this all the time. I honestly don't think so. I think the bar has been set so high for everything that he did. Like, I'm still the guy that every time I see a LeBron's better than Jordan tweet, I'm commenting, bro. I'm commenting. Because you got to think, 6 finals MVPs, 6 championships, no game 7s.
That is impressive.
Michael Jordan literally checks every box on the basketball floor. He's like top 3 in every box. So, like, if you're not going to be flawless once you get there, once you start getting to the finals, then it's over. You lose one time, it's over. It's like a math problem. It's like an equation. If you mess up in the beginning, it's a wrap.
Dang.
That's how I feel. And Kobe is my favorite player. Kobe, because I got to see that. You know what I'm saying? I got to witness it.
Yeah.
He's my favorite guy. And I thought there was nobody better than Kobe. But you got Jordan. And Kobe was the closest that I could, like, visualize next to him. So it was, like, to me, like,
They're the same player.
They're the same player. And Kobe couldn't get that close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he had Shaq.
And Kobe. Man, and this is why I be talking about greater and better.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
He be looking like he...
I be looking at Kobe and I'm like, this is Mike with a 3-ball.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But you got to think, like, Mike, one thing about Mike, he adapted to everything that happened on the court. You know what I'm saying?
That's
if
true.
when they told him he couldn't shoot threes, what he do? He came out and gave Clyde the business. Gave him like 6 of them before half. You know what I'm saying? So that leads me to believe that shit. If he was in this era, why not? You know what I'm saying? He jumped. He still. If Michael Jordan played right now, what you think it would look like? Because all these guys, like, it's some talent. It's some crazy talent in the NBA. But at the same time, like, they mind ain't like Jordan's, bro.
Yeah, because I always reference this stat. If I'm not mistaken, it was a 1987 season. Michael Jordan averaged 37 points a game and only made 12 threes all year.
Right.
To me, that is the craziest. That's the craziest. That is the craziest shit. 37 a game off of nothing but two. I did the math on this. That's about a week. I mean, that's about a 3-pointer every week and a half.
Right. Like, and then I be hearing niggas say, oh, he was playing against plumbers and this and that. Bro, you got to understand, bro. These are basketball players, bro. The game of basketball is going to remain the same forever. Things change. You can add moves and stuff. But the basics of the game will remain the same forever. So, like, within defense, anybody can play defense. Like, anybody. It's all about effort. Is there anybody playing better defense now than they were then? In the 90s?
Damn.
I don't think so, bro. It was Olajuwon back then. Dennis Rodman. Guys like that, bro. And Michael Jordan killed them boys, man. Like, he did them boys real bad. Like, going back and looking at Jordan, it's unbelievable at times.
Yeah.
So,
For me, Kobe was my first favorite player. Like late 90s.
yeah.
You know, Kobe with the fro.
Yeah.
And then I just remember I have just a love for LeBron because it's like I like grew up with him. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's my because I used to get into like the GOAT conversation, but now I'm at the point where I'm like, you can't argue undefeated. And Michael Jordan's from North Carolina, so I'm not gonna keep arguing against this nigga. You know what I'm saying? But also,
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I'm kind of like rearranging my standards for greatness because I look at LeBron as almost like, to me, he's like the goat of like overcoming expectations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It like
most definitely.
it's crazy to me because like I would never say he's greater than Michael Jordan. I just think the thing I appreciate the most about him is that we saw this man because back in the day, 2000, 2003, people were not playing on ESPN. There were no ranking. There was no internet like that.
Right.
And so I'll never forget when my parents brought the mail in and I saw this dude on the cover of ESPN magazine as a
Right.
junior. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Shit was crazy.
and then we ended up seeing him play. I got to see him play at the Greensboro Coliseum his senior year because they played against Reynolds because they had Rayshawn Terry. And, I watched him put up 30-something on them. They beat them about 40. And so it's almost like just to watch this dude go from he was supposed to be the greatest to he actually stayed in the conversation. It's like, damn, okay. And then seeing where he came from, it's like, I just wish that would be the focus more because it's like there's no beating Jordan. There's almost no beating Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Because now Kobe's become immortalized on top of that. But Kobe's, like I said, Kobe's so Jordan.
Kobe is my guy, bro. I tell niggas all the time. My friends and them, they think I hate Bron. They think I'm like a Bron hater or whatever. I'm not a Bron hater. I give LeBron a lot of credit. Like, his discipline is unmatched. His longevity is amazing. But at the end of the day, he not the same killer as them other two. He just not. And that's just not him. And that's
Right.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we start talking about who's greater than and stuff like that, keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Bron has everybody's best interest at heart on the floor. Like, Kobe and Jordan doesn't. They literally hate their opponents. Nowadays, like I just mentioned this to somebody the other day. Bron's one of the only athletes I even follow on Twitter and Instagram, and like every time an NBA player has a good game, Bron's like, "Yo, that's a crazy game, amazing game by so and so," and I'm just thinking in my head like, Jordan and Kobe would never. They hate them guys.
Right.
During the season, they hate them guys. Like, it's so much different. Like, the mindsets are so much different, but they're both great mindsets to have. You know what I'm saying? It's like apples and oranges. You can pick whoever you like. But in my mind, Jordan 1, Kobe 2.
So do you think? Because as you were talking, you really made me think of like the era LeBron grew up in, and now the era we're in, and versus like Kobe and Mike. You think we'll ever get that again? Because to me, with the way the AAU circuit is and everybody being friends, you know what I'm saying? There are no. Do you think we'll ever have that?
Nah, it's over, bro. Like, the era we're approaching is different. You got teams scoring 150 points.
Yeah.
How many 50 balls have been in the NBA in the last 2 weeks? That era is gone, bro. There's no pride about themselves on defense. There's no, oh, he had 50 last night. He ain't getting nothing tonight. You know what I'm saying? There's none of that no more. Like, even like, it's crazy because Kobe's mindset is so huge in our generation. Like, ours, it translated to even us. Like, I remember thinking, like, yo, Kobe is going off on these top defenders like it's nothing. He's shooting over double teams and triple teams like it's nothing, like they not even there, bro. And he's really leaving his mark. And so for me, like, I don't know, man. I think that era of competitiveness and tenacity, I think it's gone. I think it's not. I think it's all entertainment now. It's more entertainment and put up as many points as you can, dunk as many times as you can. We don't see too many overtime games, too many close games. The game is decided by halftime. More than likely nowadays, you watch an NBA game, you catch it at halftime, you gonna know who's gonna win. So it's like, shit, gotta take it for what it is now.
So do you think that? Because I have a theory about that. Do you think that as society kind of moves into this more conscious, and when I say conscious, I'll say this, like, kind of what we were discussing about earlier, kind of the difference in generations. We now live in a generation where people are just aware of emotions, feelings, you know what I'm saying? People care about it.
Yeah.
Do you think those two things are synonymous? Kind of this, you got this rugged, rough, tough generation that also produced these athletes that kind of, you know what I'm saying, reflect that same mindset. And now we're moving into more almost like a philosophical, it almost reminds me of like a finesse era, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And not finesse in the hustle sense, but this, more spiritual, more.
Yeah.
Do you think that that correlation is synonymous, or you think that's just?
I mean, it can't be because we're watching it work against us. Look at Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie wears his emotions on his sleeve. That's my favorite player behind Kobe and Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Just because like he's the villain almost. I feel like Kyrie won't get any of his flowers until he meets his demise, his untimely demise, just like Kobe. I really, bro, I compare them to a lot, Kobe and Kyrie, because it's like they stand on what they stand on, and they not changing that, bro. And they get shunned upon because of it. And it's like they can still perform at the end of the day. So like when we see Kyrie express himself, they even had a problem with him burning sage in the arena.
In the Boston Garden, yeah.
It's like only certain people can display their emotions, can display, you know what I'm saying, that feeling. But like it's not the same for everybody, bro. Like some people are just, they don't want to hear that from them. It's shut up and dribble. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a strange era that we're going into. I'm all for the feelings and stuff, but it's kind of hard to incorporate that into the sports because somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. So I don't know, bro. That's a complicated question for sure.
I feel you. It's an interesting balance between like the participation trophy moving towards that kind of
there you go
generation, but then also to bring up like high school. You know what I'm saying? And this is no knock to our high school coach. You know what I'm saying? Because I love Coach Jordan, but there
shout
are times.
Shout out to Coach Jordan.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out that man Therm. You know, Coach Brown, Coach Lawrence. But I think there were times where that kind of like, and just me, and also I'm realizing I was probably pretty soft. You know what I'm saying? As a kid growing up, you know what I'm saying? But there were times.
I never looked at you as soft though. On my
real?
mama, I never looked at you as soft. I thought you was who you are. You know what I'm saying? You're just, I love people for who they are, regardless of they soft, they corny, or they nerds. Like, I love people. Me and Ant, complete opposites. I love Ant to death for exactly who he is, bro. So,
preach. And there were times where I think like that kind of rough coaching, like I don't know if it helped me because there would just be times where I would throw a bad pass or something and I didn't necessarily need to hear that, oh, I should have listened in practice. Maybe I just need to hear, hey, the spot's not here. You know what I'm saying? And so it is a complicated question because we're moving into it's with the internet and just with so much exposure to people's feelings and things. You know, I think that's one thing I'm really grateful for this past year of like having people come on is that when you really shut the hell up and listen sometimes, it's like, damn, like I've never thought about that. You know what I'm saying? Right. How that might impact somebody because you never know someone's upbringing or someone's story. And so I'm interested to see how over the next like 10 to 20 years, all of this develops, you know what I'm saying, into how we keep the competitiveness and keep, because that competitiveness goes deeper than sports in life, you know what I'm saying? How we keep this next generation competitive but thoughtful. I don't know.
That participation trophy thing is real though, cause like even Brian be getting a little bit of that because shit, I know another guy that's been getting rings right up under Brian's nose for the last 7 years?
Steph. Yeah, he don't get no respect, man.
He don't get enough respect because that's another thing that goes into play when we talking about who's the greatest. I know a dude who never lost in the finals. I know a dude who didn't let anybody else in his era win in the finals. So once we start talking like that, it's like, how can you argue that? You know what I'm saying? Steph came through and changed the game. You can't be the GOAT and another guy come and just change the game, just change everything.
Yeah, because for that reason alone, Steph to me is top 5 because, like you said, man, very few people can change the way that 8 billion people play the game of basketball. Because, prime example, like you said, it was a lot of people like you, I feel like, growing up in our era, the pre-YouTube, pre-Steph Curry era, where if you had bounce or something, you can get the rim, everybody trying to dunk. Can't nobody shoot?
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because when you got time to go work on your game, you probably throwing lobs or working on getting there. But now, Steph is people don't go in and try to dunk. People put down a book bag and they go 30 feet and get the shooting. Interesting, man.
And AAU, that's what got you offers. Dunking.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Nowadays, niggas pulling up for half and getting offers. You know what I'm saying? When we used to go to these AAU tournaments, my whole thing was, all right, Ant, you know what I'm saying? You do your thing. I'm gonna go dunk on as many niggas as I can. We both gonna help each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was, bro. I was trying to take off on kids. But nowadays, like, it ain't the same. It's definitely not the same.
Yeah. Yo, you mind if we take a quick break? Split up the shit?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it.